You're not alone if you've smiled and said you're fine, because you knew the real answer would be too much. Someone asks, "How are you?" And before you even answer, you can almost hear what's coming next. "Have you tried? Maybe you should," insert appropriate suggestion. And sometimes you just don't have the energy for it. I remember standing in the kitchen with my phone in my hand, typing a real answer and then deleting it and then sending "grand thanks," because I didn't have the energy for what I knew would come next. This was during the pandemic and everything was all weird, and I had just moved home to my mum, and there were just so many things to think about. There was mum and there was work, and there was the fear that I'd cough and kill everyone and end up alone on the planet fending for myself. I was doing what everyone else was doing, just keeping things going. And if someone asked how I was doing, before I even answered, I'd be wondering about what's safe to say. Because if I answered honestly and said, "You know, it's hard," there was a fair chance I'd end up in a whole other conversation that I didn't have the energy for. Partly because people were so kind. Actually, probably mainly because people were so kind. That's nearly the problem. Very kind people hate to see you having a hard time. The minute good people hear you're having a hard time, they want to try and help. And help sometimes, when you're at your limit, can feel like another thing to do. I remember people saying to me very reasonably, "You should get a cleaner." They were right. It was a great suggestion. But to me, it was another project to be managed. I'd have to ring around, find somebody trustworthy, set up a time, organise looking after mum during that time, prepare the house for them. There were just so many things involved in getting that help. All the things. And when I was already at capacity, a very perfectly reasonable suggestion just felt like another thing to manage. And then there was a conversation with a friend that I remember, and she said several times, "What do you need? What do you need?" But I couldn't give the answer that she wanted, because I felt that she needed something from me that I just didn't have to give. And I think she needed a solution, something clear that she could do or that I could do that would make everything better. But what I needed at that time was company. I would have loved for her to just stay with me in the chaos. I craved it. My family were all in it with me, so I couldn't lean on them any more than I already was. And thank God I had a good friend who was able to be there with me. But I couldn't be bugging her 24/7, telling her this is hard. And I suppose that's what I needed, was to be able to say this is hard to someone and for them not to try and fix it, because honestly it was unfixable. So at that time, as well as having a hard time, I was also managing other people's reactions to the fact that I was having a hard time. And I knew it came from kindness, and it was another thing to carry. So when someone would go to ask how I was, I'd go to answer honestly, and then I might think and say, maybe not, because I mightn't have it in me to carry out the conversation that I knew was about to follow. So I'd smile and I might say, grand now, thanks. And I think a lot of women who carry a lot understand that feeling. It can be hard answering questions, explaining things, softening things so that other people can feel all right about the fact that you're anything but all right. So if you're the woman who says you're fine because the honest response might turn into a whole other conversation, you're not alone. If you've ever sent a cheerful text because you couldn't really cope with the follow-up, you're not alone. And if you've ever smiled and said you're fine to avoid a therapy session in the supermarket aisle at 9:14 on a Saturday morning, you're not alone. Sometimes a smile is self-protection. It might be a way through a moment so that you don't have to unpack your whole life. So if that's what you've been doing, I see you. I see the effort it takes to look and sound fine when you're anything but, and to make your answers easier for other people to hear. I see your quick calculation before you respond, and the part of you that thinks, no, not right now. And if you've ever worried that your smile made you fake or weak because you dodged a question, you're neither. Sometimes you're just tired and protecting your energy. Sometimes grand thanks is the most honest answer you can give. And if you've ever felt alone in the middle of the supermarket aisle, know that you're not. And if you want another video that lifts the pressure a little bit, have a look at this one. It's about what's supposed to be fun actually being kind of a pain.